3 days removed from a Universal attraction, Disney is giving out free water park admission. And what the heck is Mattel Adventure Park? All this and more in your theme park news for the week of February 28th, 2024. Hey guys, Matt here, and I've got a ton of news this week. We check in with some vloggers, and then I'm forced to step up on my soapbox to address an unfortunate comment. Let's start it off the way we always do, with some headlines. Want to experience Skull Island but hate it when that third dimension gets in the way? Then do I have some great news for you. Universal Orlando has converted the 3D in their Skull Island Rein of Kong attraction to boring old 2D. Also, if this is news that you get excited about, you should probably make some changes in your life. When I contacted Universal Creative about whether the animatronic Kong at the end of the ride was also converted to 2D, I was promptly hung up on. I think they may have changed their number too, which was a good idea. Are you planning a trip to a Disney resort in 2025? Because you're in for a treat. Our resort guests will receive a complimentary one-day ticket to one of the Disney water parks, because it would be really weird if guests could also choose from Volcano Bay and Aquatica. Guests can choose either Blizzard Beach or Typhoon Lagoon, but as always, they have no choice in the urine content found in the wave pool. Timing is kind of interesting. Is there something happening in 2025 that might drive vacationers away from Disney? It'd have to be something pretty epic. SeaWorld Orlando has shared a behind-the-scenes look at the new Penguin Trek family launch coaster. The video shows some track and some empty spaces where scenery is going to be. There's also a guy with a hard hat. He probably works there, but I didn't do a lot of research. No penguins though, so that's a negative. I'm not really sure why I'm even reporting on this. Oh, I know why. Slow news week. I'll finish the story with some baby penguin footage. Look at that. Adorable. Put these little guys in tiny hard hats and have them build the coaster. That's how you get me to care about your new attraction, SeaWorld. Did you guys know that Mattel is building a theme park in Arizona? Like with rides and stuff? I thought for sure this was me just remembering that time when I was 8 and I drew a theme park that had He-Man and Hot Wheels and Barbie, and then I showed my mom and she said, "Why did you put it in Barbie?" And I was all like, "It's okay if I like Barbie." And she said, "Good for you for being so progressive." And I said, "I'm 8, I don't know what progressive means." And she patted me on the head and put my drawing on the fridge. But nope, there's going to be a Mattel Adventure Park in Arizona. It's scheduled to open in 2024, but I'm also not convinced that this isn't one of those alternative universe paradox things, so really anything could be true. And my head hurts. Monsters are taking over City Walk in Hollywood. The Universal Monsters Tribute Store has opened at Universal Studios Hollywood. Featuring iconic Universal monsters such as Dracula, Wolfman, Frankenstein, and the Mummy, the store offers shirts and collectibles for all of the classic monster fans out there. But if someone tries to sell you some Invisible Man merch in an alley behind the store, you keep walking. That's a scam. I should know because I bought a ton off eBay, and when I opened the box, this is what I got. Should really be smarter. Mel's Drive-In at Universal Studios in Florida is reopened after a lengthy refurbishment. So if you're a fan of bad theme park food, I guess you're pretty happy. For me, when people are more passionate about your Horror Nights sign than your burgers, it might be time to take a look at those recipes. Or just change the name to Mel's Dine-In and maybe use less salt. The Haunted Mansion parlor aboard the upcoming Disney Treasure cruise ship is getting a new bust in the image of Disney legend Raleigh Crump, who died last year at 93. Crump's Museum of the Weird concept led to the creation of the Haunted Mansion. Disney is working really hard to get me on that cruise ship. Screw it, you know what? I'm booking now. You guys talk amongst yourself. It's upside down. The Disney Treasure sets sail starting in December. But why wait until December when you can set sail with a park vlogger right now? Why do none of these segues ever make sense? I'm starting to think I'm the problem here. John from Love Our Life Vlog has an update on everything that's happening over at Universal Orlando, including a look at the reopened Mel's Drive-In. Get updated over at Love Our Life Vlog. They're testing ride vehicles over at Two Foolish Mortals. If you're worried about fitting on rides at Universal Orlando, then check out this video over at Two Foolish Mortals. Can't say mortals. Want to see what's going on at the newly opened Daytona Aquarium? View from the cheap seats is taking a tour of the new attraction and looking at fish. So many fish. Go fishing with @View from the cheap seats. Normally, I like to use this segment to do something fun like answer tweets or run a fun video, but today I wanted to address something. I've always intended this channel to be a fun diversion that was mostly positive. I don't want anyone to feel excluded when watching my content, and because of that, I went into it thinking that I would stay as ambiguous as I could when it came to making any political statements of any kind. We're inundated with a lot of political opinions coming from everywhere constantly, and I don't think that helps unite us. But last week on the show, I had a story about Tiana's Bayou adventure. I know there are a lot of people that have a lot of opinions on that refurb. My opinion is clear. I think that it's a great update to a classic ride. And let me make another thing clear. I'm fine with someone having an opposing viewpoint. I get it. There's a lot of people that loved Splash Mountain. And these discussions are a fun part of Parks fandom. It's what we like to do. What I'm not fine with is blatant racism. I got this comment. Only reason they replaced it with Tiana is because she's black. They didn't need to get rid of a classic just to virtue signal. As a journalist, I strongly believe in freedom of speech and expression. I responded hoping that this was just an attempt to be a little edgy, and I stated my opinion that this isn't virtue signaling, but actually representation. And I didn't understand why anybody would want to deny a child from being included in the parks. The response I got back was pure vitriol, containing nonsense about the decline of white people and that white children have no one to look up to anymore. And it was all very predictable white supremacy rhetoric. Regardless of your views on Splash Mountain, it's disgusting to think that children of all races shouldn't be able to come into these theme parks and see someone that looks like they do. That's incredibly important to kids. It makes them feel included. That's what inclusion means. As a white guy, I've never had to deal with it. That's what privilege means. But I have empathy, and I can understand the feelings associated with that type of exclusion. That's what's missing here, empathy. There's a very strong lack of even wanting to try to see what this might mean to people of color. Or even better, ask someone of color what it means to them. Do some research, read a book. Because going through life being that ignorant is detrimental not just to the people around you, but to society also. I can't ignore this. I don't want to ignore it, and it's not just about understanding your position or trying to change my mind. I understand your position. You think that you're losing your grip on your perceived superiority. And you are, because no group should be superior. So take your racism somewhere else, because it's not wanted here. And if anyone wants to continue making hateful comments, then do it, because you're doing nothing more than exposing your ignorance to the world. And also, stop making me be serious, because I have a lot of SeaWorld jokes to make. That's the show for this week. Did it end a little more serious than I wanted it to? Sure. But seriously, guys, take the time to think about what you put out in the world. It's important. I'll be back next week. I'm going to put out some ignorance of my own. Some fun, silly ignorance, because that's what I like to do. So, until next time, go to a park. Go enjoy the park. But don't be a jerk.